My name is Cotillion Sneddy, and currently I work as a grant coordinator for Northland Pioneer College, but I also teach early childhood classes there as well. And I don't think there's a one picture. I only represent, an area of the Navajo Nation and the rural community I live in. We're fortunate here. We're close enough to services where we have running water, electric. We don't have great internet services, but they're working on it. I have to give them that. We are close to a paved road. So some of these things that a lot of areas don't have access to yet. But also I want to stress that sometimes that's not even so much of a weakness. Sometimes those things are strengths because we're learning to overcome a lot of those challenges, especially in this pandemic. The number of children who travel maybe 2 hours or less, maybe by bus to get to school when they need to. We're a strong nation, we're a strong people. We're trying to bring back some culturally relevant material into our classrooms, into our homes. If anything, during this pandemic, we've learned how far away from our cultural learning and traditions that we have strayed from, things that we were able to do maybe a generation or two back that we really needed to re-implement into our daily lives. And that's education. So I'm hopeful that a lot of families during this time were able to identify those things and are trying to bring that back into their homes as well. With a lot of the work that I do in a lot of the communities is that we work a lot with people where English is a second language. And I was fortunate enough to where, although my parents and my siblings are fluent Navajo speakers, I'd like to think that I was a chosen one. So I was vice versa. They taught me English, and so my Navajo is not where it needs to be. But, I just see myself as a spokesperson for the family. And so in thinking about that, a lot of what we don't realize as professionals is we want to show our professionalism, our experience, and share that the language that we use and the meanings through that language really is important. Understanding that there are barriers, making sure that there's a translation of the home language, making sure that we're being sensitive to the home culture, not just the culture as a whole, but also, each home has their own culture, and making sure that what we're respecting the ways that these families are raising their children, I think, will help us to be more accountable for, and the equity and ensuring that we are meeting the needs of all the children in those communities. So I think in order for that to happen, we need to do more to be in those communities or to know people from those communities. That way we are not making any assumptions or, really overlooking any of their needs or not addressing any of those challenges while we're making these decisions on their behalf. So I think that's where we need to start. I've been in early childhood for a very long time, mostly due to, my early childhood experiences, my own experiences growing up. I hold on to those experiences because it reminds me of who I am. It humbles me, and it centers me. Before I had the confidence and the ability to talk about those experiences, I think I would feel sorry for her. I would be sympathetic to her situation. Though later on, my parents did get it together and realized what they put us through. They became amazing grandparents. I'm very happy and proud of who she became, and choosing to be the better person every time and to push through. You know, the role of the VP, the Vice President of Membership is also to build relationships, building a lot of relationships out in the communities. And I mean that with schools, mental health consultants, even police stations, police departments, social workers, but ensuring that there's some type of networking and system in place to where, you know, those that you're working with, you have some place to refer them to locally. And out here in the rural communities, that's hard because we don't have those type of resources immediately available. I think there's only one, maybe two mental health consultants available for the entire Navajo Nation in Arizona. And that's alarming. So, you know, you take a look at that and think, well, how can we increase the number of mental health consultants available so that those families are not traveling 2 to 3 hours just to get services for their children? They should be able to have that access in their communities. So, you know, just taking a look at that and accept, really looking at a needs and assets kind of report for the communities, which First Things First has done for Navajo Nation, and prioritizing those. And so I think bottom line is relationship building, partnership building with other, um, you know, entities that are there in those communities. And I'm not just talking about Navajo Nation, but the other outlying communities that are out there that have don't really have the resources to have somebody represent them. I mean, they're so small with doing everything and trying to, you know, really get as many resources to our families as we can. And you know, they're experiencing higher stress levels than before. Those families that were already facing such things are now double or triple those stress levels. And a lot of, you know, a lot of bad things can happen to children during those times. And children do feel those stress levels, and you know, their mental health is, you know, it becomes high risk at that point. So I think a lot of this ties into relationship building, communication, transparency, and just really supportiveness across the board in the state of Arizona.